Really? More running?
What's the matter? Getting rusty?
Watch it, hairball.
Sorry for all the bother.
All in a day's work, ma'am.
From the moment I first saw Codename S.T.E.A.M, I was hooked. Here was a game that seemed completely designed to draw my attention. It was an alternate Steam-based history with a graphical style meant to invoke Batman the Animated Series with a character lineup consisting of literary classics. Top that off with turn-based strategy gameplay in a similar vein to Valkyria Chronicles and enemies inspired by Lovecraftian horrors, and well, that's damn perfect for me. But it never seemed to incite the excitement that I had for it in other people. And that's a shame because despite a few problems with Steam's design, this is an excellent new IP from Nintendo and Intelligent Systems. Codename S.T.E.A.M literally takes place within a kid's comic book where a new golden age of Steam has dawned soon after the Civil War. Henry Fleming from the Red Badge of Courage is visiting London for the opening of a new bridge when unknown alien-like beings attack the city. From there, he joins up with President Lincoln's STEAM task force in order to fight back the monster menace. Saying more would spoil the pure fun of the plot, but the story is great at raising the stakes and making the aliens seem like an unstoppable force. It maintains a balance of over-the-top cheesiness with reminders of just how devastating the aliens can be. While the plot is a lot of fun, the characterization is lacking. You don't really get to know any of the characters outside of a few stock traits. They're definitely fun, but Steam relies on the player knowing their source material to really get the most out of them. It never became a huge deal, but I also never fell in love with the characters in the same way that I did in Fire Emblem or Valkyria Chronicles. They felt like they're just filling a role. The gameplay is where Codename S.T.E.A.M shines though. It's a different take on turn-based strategies that puts the player on ground level with their units. There's no way to view the entire map, so positioning, scanning for enemies, and caution becomes paramount. Swapping between your squad of 4 can be done at any time, leading to fun strategies and decisions. If one character spots an alien, then you could switch to another character and try to get the jump on it. However, every unit is limited by the amount of steam they have. Steam determines how far they move, how many times they can attack, and whether they can enter Overwatch mode. Each map is split into square grids. Moving from square to square takes 1 unit of steam, but backtracking to the initial spot refills the steam. This allows players to scout the map and plan the best course of action. However, there are ways that the steam cannot be refilled. While the collectible medals and gears can be gathered with no problem, picking up a health pack will make the move to that space permanent. This also occurs if the units use their weapon or are hit by an enemy's Overwatch. This made movement part of the strategy and encouraged me to take my time and really look in every corner. It also helped that sneaking was possible if you only move the circle pad slightly. The game forces you to be aware of your environment and prepared for what may come. Of course, it's not just moving around that you'll be doing, but fighting the aliens. Each character has a main weapon that's unique to them and really makes them feel different from one another. Some are more typical like John's grenade launcher or Tiger Lily's medpack launcher, but others are just kind of out there. I've never seen a shooter where something like Tom Sawyer's boxing glove was a legitimate weapon or that you could launch yourself into enemies like the Cowardly Lion. And because no two play alike, it really allows you to figure out how you want to play a mission. Even just swapping out a single character changed the way I approach things. But it's the Overwatch ability that is the most critical. If enough steam is reserved for a character, then that character will stay on alert during the enemy turn. If the enemy moves in range, then that character will fire on the enemy. While the damage it does is always nice, there is a possibility of stunning the enemy and disrupting their turn, leaving them wide open for a counterattack. It's an incredibly vital ability, and many times I had to decide whether to move forward just a bit more or hold back so I could attack an enemy that came nearby. Of course, the aliens are able to do this too with all of the same effects possible against you. It adds a sense of caution while exploring the maps. However, players can further customize their characters and their tactics with sub-weapons. No two characters can have the same sub-weapon, but the variety is more than enough so it doesn't matter. I found myself equipping my teams with sub-weapons that would not only complement the other's playstyle, but covered their weaknesses as well. More sub-weapons are unlocked by earning more medals. These can be obtained by killing aliens, collecting them on the map, or as bonuses after completing a chapter. But the medals can also be spent at save points in the map. Just saving is free, but healing the character using it will cost a few medals. However, healing every party member and reviving the ones that have fallen can be quite expensive. It makes for another element that players must decide on as they're playing a mission. Finally, each character has a special attack that can be used once per mission. Some deal massive damage to enemies while others heal or buff your own team. What makes Codename S.T.E.A.M so interesting as a strategy game is that there's no real way to strengthen your team. It mainly comes down to your tactics and which weapons and teammates you choose. The only way to increase your squad stats is with boilers. These can provide a greater reserve of steam and a quicker recharge time of that steam, but this is also balanced by having some boilers increase or even decrease the character's offense and defense. It really becomes about what the player is willing to forfeit for what gain. In that way, the game is incredibly balanced. It offers a challenge without ever becoming too overwhelming. There are most certainly difficult missions, but it never felt unfair. The single-player campaign is a great time. The missions were always varied, and new enemies were revealed at a near constant rate. Taking on these challenges and experiencing what came next felt really rewarding. That's not to say, of course, that there weren't problems. Characters repeat phrases quite often, which could get mildly annoying, and some maps had the alien forces gaining way too many reinforcements to the point that it could be overwhelming. But the worst of it was simply waiting for the enemy turn. While seeing some aliens move helped your tactics for the upcoming turn, waiting on ones you couldn't even see just got tedious. Worst of all is that there's no way to speed the process up. Depending on the amount of aliens, it could be a real pace killer. S.T.E.A.M also includes local and online multiplayer with 3 separate modes. The first is a simple deathmatch where players face off with their squads. Each player has 60 seconds to perform their moves and be ready for the next. It can actually get quite hectic as you quickly plan what you should do and how you should prepare against your opponent. The mode also tosses in special items which increase the character's strength and max health. Meanwhile, Medal Battle works essentially the same except that it's limited to 5 turns. Medals are scattered around the chosen map, and it's a race to see which player can collect the most. Of course, you can still attack your opponent and get a medal bonus for taking them out. It's a great way to get a quick match in. Finally, there's the Abe Battle. In this, each player pilots the special Abe mech and fights to the death. While there are some tactics, mainly with steam consumption, it's more of an outright brawler than anything else. The matches are also incredibly short, usually taking less than a minute. It's fun, if a bit mindless, and ended up reminding me of Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Overall, the online works great. I never experienced a hint of slowdown in any of my matches, and playing online can help your single-player campaign as the medals you earn are transferred to the main game. The major problem is the interface, as there is no way to directly connect with your friends. The only options are random battles and tournaments. While I was unable to confirm this since a majority of people don't have the game yet, random battles seem to give you a list of other players to choose from. You may be able to find a friend in this way, but it's baffling that you cannot directly challenge one another online. Tournament mode is comparable to the tournaments in Mario Kart 8, where you can set the aspects of the matches and even set it to private for just you and your friends. But even this has issues since tournaments cannot be set for the current day, so you must plan ahead. These issues, while not game-breaking, are just odd because it would be so easy to fix. Graphically, Codename S.T.E.A.M is a heavily stylized game. I think it works for the tone it sets, and the maps are always different. Better yet, there's an emphasis on vertical gameplay. Usually there's an upper platform that helps provide a better view of the map and enemy positions. Some maps will even have turrets or tanks to use. The style just works and really gives the game its own personality. And while the character portraits can sometimes feel a bit simplistic, the comic book styling of the cutscenes provides a great sense of energy. Likewise, the sound design is excellent. Every actor is having fun with the constant Steam puns and really helps sell this world. The soundtrack is surprisingly varied with songs ranging from hard rock to dubstep. It got me pumped for each mission and gave it a harder edge than I was expecting. I had an absolute blast with Codename S.T.E.A.M. Every element barring the multiplayer options is well thought out and just fun. While it does have issues and the gameplay obviously isn't for everyone, this is a game well worth trying if you're even the slightest bit interested. I love it to death and I hope to see even more of S.T.E.A.M in the future. Thanks for watching and be sure to stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Codename S.T.E.A.M and other things gaming.